the strange disappearance of 3,000 Chinese soldiers. Did they travel to an alternate reality? In 1939, about 3,000 soldiers mysteriously disappeared in southern Xinjiang. They were prepared to defend the area from the Japanese. 2 hours later, an aide reported that contact with the troops had been lost. Let's find out what could have caused the disappearance of these 3,000 Chinese soldiers who disappeared in southern Nanjing. When their leader came to inspect the next morning, there was no sign of them anywhere. Their weapons were found stacked next to small cooking fires, but not the people who carried them. All the troops were gone. Had the Japanese attacked during the night and taken them all? That seemed impossible. The colonel and his assistants had not heard a sound during the whole night. So what happened to these men? No one captured or attacked the troops. How could they have disappeared? At that time, the Japanese were marching towards the heart of China. They started over in Nanking, the capital, but the mighty Yangtze River stretched across its path, and to get to Nanking, they would have to cross a narrow bridge. The Chinese commander, Colonel Li Fuxian, decided to fight on that bridge. If he could stop the Japanese there, he could save his country. On December 10, 1939, Colonel Li Fuxian stationed his 2,988 soldiers in an area in the hills of Nanjing. The men were positioned along a line of about 3.2 kilometers to defend a bridge over the Yangtze River. They were equipped with large amounts of heavy artillery and prepared to fight to the last man if necessary. They seemed ready for battle, and the colonel went to his tent to sleep. The next morning, an aide woke up Colonel Li Fuxian by telling him that they could not make any contact with the troops on the defense line. Soon after, he formed and led an investigation group to find out what had happened to the troops. Upon reaching the line, all positions were deserted, yet there were no signs of fighting, and not a single soldier was to be found anywhere. The team did stay. The heavy artillery was in position ready to be fired, but no one was there, and the only way to cross that river was by the bridge. Near the bridge, the remaining sentries were interrogated for information, and they swore that not a single soldier had crossed the bridge during the night. None of them had seen or heard anything. 1 or 2 soldiers may have escaped them, but not nearly 3,000 soldiers. The missing troops were never found. After a long time, when the Japanese withdrew and the war finally ended, the records of the Japanese were examined for any clues as to what may have happened to the missing men. The Chinese authorities thought that the soldiers could have been taken prisoner by them, but why did the Japanese put down their weapons? When the records were verified, many amazing facts came to light. The Japanese never captured such a large number of Chinese soldiers. Various theories have emerged, but at that time, the only 2 answers seemed possible. They must have passed over to the Japanese, or they must have quietly surrendered. Some people think and link the incident to the Hollow Earth theory and UFOs. Some researchers believe that the troops were brought into the earth through a portal into the mountainous area of Nanjing region. Perhaps these troops were somehow stunned or hypnotized while relaxing in their camps and could not think clearly. Then they were taken to the portal and transported to another location. Also at that time, many officers reported flying objects in the sky that they could not identify. Could this just be a coincidence? Another theory is that the soldiers disappeared in a parallel universe. If our reality is surrounded by a series of invisible parallel worlds, isn't it possible for a person to enter one of those unknown realms simply by mistake? If that happens, the person in question would find themselves in a different reality, probably unable to return to their own world. There's a lot of speculation regarding the disappearance of 3,000 Chinese soldiers and no real answer. The fact is that 3,000 soldiers disappeared, and their disappearance remains an inexplicable mystery to this day. And this is on Infinite Explorers by Anne Shrivastava. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.